Hey guys, how we doing?
Yeah, hey.
What's going on?
Well, good to finally meet you, Nick.
You too, you too. How's your day been?
Awesome.
Yeah, let's Donnie and I actually connected earlier today and had a great conversation about mind, body, spirit. So maybe we can
Yeah.
kick off the conversation there. Well, first of all, why don't we welcome everybody to another episode of Truth Seekers. Of course, you can find Coach Nick and myself, Coach Josh, at proadvisorcoach.com. Find us where you listen to podcasts. We have our own YouTube channel, Truth Seekers, #Truth Seekers, and also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Truth Seekers with Coach Nick and Coach Josh. I'd like to welcome Don Jaeger today. Don, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
So I actually learned this about Don today, that Don has started 6 different companies over his tenure as an entrepreneur, all with varying degrees of success. But Don, probably so much wealth and knowledge and wisdom that we can tap into today. So how would you like to start? Maybe I'll frame that for you.
No, I think it's always great to talk about scars because what we can learn from those scars is the most important thing. And obviously, there's different ways you can learn. You can live it, or you can be even smarter and learn from somebody else who's already done it. So, love if anybody could take any knowledge from me and avoid those types of things. Great, you're one step ahead of some of the things I've done.
That's the best part of like reading books, right? And watching movies and documentaries. It's a whole purpose. People sum up their information, the knowledge they want to share with the world from their experiences to help other people, kind of navigate those obstacles or skip over them or avoid them along the way. You find that to be true, Coach Nick?
Yeah, we're compressing time. It took you 10 years to do something. How can you help someone do it in 2? How crazy is that? Think about that for legacy, because you help someone do something in 2, and now can get like 5 times the amount of stuff that you got done over that 10 years in that 10-year period, right? Potentially, right? Like, think about where they can go. It's crazy to think about the potential there.
So Don, why don't you kick us off with, let's start with the greatest success, something you're going through right now, or something you've been successful with recently that we can celebrate today.
Yeah, so I think personally, probably one of my most recent big breakthroughs and achievements that I've really been happy about is obviously my background is in fitness, and I've been working a lot with getting people in shape with their bodies physically, and we know how big of a change that can make. And one of the things for me was I've done a great job of keeping myself physically in shape, but I come to the realization in these last 6 months that you really have to put together all 3, mind, body, and spirit, if you want to be fully equipped to handle today's challenges, because you can't just have one or the other. And for a long time, I may have neglected that mind aspect of it. And I'm still kind of in my infancy, I would consider myself, in learning how to truly be strong-minded and set that kind of intention on a daily, minute by minute basis. But once you start understanding that mind, body, and spirit, all 3 need to be exercised, need to be fit, it's going to allow you to become that much better and propel yourself that much further and have the impact that you're really wanting to try and make in this world. So it's an important new breakthrough for me that I just want, anybody who's willing to listen, I'm willing to talk about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. It's interesting to, I think about my journey and different points, what got inserted, what my focus was, and like, it's all true, but sometimes it's just not the whole picture. It's not the whole equation, or in the moment it is, because there's so much depth in there. But as you zoom out, there's always more, isn't there? What you said, that this had to have a strong mind. Would you share, Don, what does that mean to you? What is it to have a strong mind?
Yeah, it's a great question, Nick. So being an entrepreneur, being a small business owner, there's just a certain percentage of your daily, weekly, yearly life that there's going to be some crap that gets dumped on you, right? There's going to be some tough situations. And yeah, going into it, A lot of us think, hey, I get to do what I love. It's going to be awesome. But there's a lot of aspects to being an entrepreneur, small businessman. And there's a lot of aspects in life in general that are hard. And you've got to make sure that you build that mind to handle those things, because if you're not sound and you don't have a strong mindset, those things can throw you off course. Those things can create great disruptions. These will destroy your dreams faster than anything else. And we have to make sure that, number one, we understand that. Number two, that we're training our mind. And number three, we have somebody like you guys that can coach us and see that outside perspective to really enlighten us as far as things that we might be missing from a personal perspective. So it's all important aspects to really round it off, per se.
I think you mentioned training the mind as number two, and we can liken that to the physical aspect, right? To be leaner and to get stronger, to be more improved physically, it involves physical training. So it's the same for mindset, right? There's things we can do that will train our mind. I've been obsessed with what I like to call reprogramming my subconscious mind, just affirmations and gratitudes and just more positive things in my life that they've always been there, but to put these in regularly into my consciousness helps me to know that they're there, and I just have to open my eyes or be open to them. So I'm curious, if we get maybe a little bit more specific, Don, do you have any habits, or how have you implemented some of the practices into what you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, great question. So what's really helped me, obviously working with you, Josh, has had a ton of major breakthroughs on how I personally relate, and then helping me implement strategies to kind of really focus those things in. Biggest thing for me that's been a real game changer has been the morning routine that I've implemented. So yeah, I have as close to a consistent bedtime as you can have with 2 young children. And then I have a consistent wake up time. And once I get up in the morning, I have my routine in place. And truthfully, the morning routine starts the night before. So I have a Full Focus Planner by Michael Hyatt. Absolutely love it. Game changer for me. And what I've done is the night before, I kind of do my evening shutdown where I kind of go through, close everything out, close the laptop, and then I actually plan the following day to really kind of put my mind to bed, right? Because I've got a million things that I can do tomorrow, right? But let's really kind of think about what are the big 3 that you want to accomplish, and then how we're going to do them. Now, I lay my head on the pillow. I've got the whole schedule done for the next day. Got my workout clothes out. I've got my food somewhat prepped. I've got kind of everything in place. So I wake up. First thing I do is listen to 15 minutes of positive affirmations. And just like you were saying, we're training that subconscious. Okay. So I do diaphragmatic breathing while I listen to those affirmations. All right. And it really sets you up for that next step. Then I do a breathing exercise where I do some praying with it, and it just kind of really kind of energizes me up. Then I do just a real quick physical movement circuit where I'm just doing, walking in place, jogging in place, jumping jacks, push-ups, some squats. And then I go right into what I would consider like my sales training. So I actually do some diction. I do some more positive affirmations. And then I do a lot of sales with the business. And so I actually jump then right from there into my script, and I go top to bottom with my script, right? Every single day, building it just like you guys said. And then part of the script, as soon as that's done, I do what we consider our whack-a-moles, which are any types of issues that they kind of throw out, any wrenches that we call them kind of bad beliefs, any bad beliefs that they throw at you during the conversation. And then I do my obstacle overcomes, following that up. And then as soon as that's done, I do 10 to 15 minutes of reading, and I'm one of the 10 percenters who actually really enjoy business and strategy books. So it's no fluff on the reading. And then I finish it up with doing some portal training from my sales academy. And then I'm ready to go for the rest of the day. So I try and get that done within about 60 minutes, but it sometimes run over. But it's very regimented. I know it sounds pretty in depth, but it works really well for me.
I was gonna say, maybe it sounds like it's time to go to bed after you finish that, but all done.
My wake up time is 4 a.m. So
yeah,
thankfully, Josh and I send a lot of encouraging texts to each other to keep ourselves focused.
Very early in the morning, yes. Yeah, so and it sounds like a lot, right? But it probably all didn't start all together, right? That it's the principle of compounding on top of each other. It probably started. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but same thing. I noticed a lot of similarities with my morning routine, but it started very simple, and then once those, I felt comfortable around those, and those are habits that you can build on top of that.
Yeah, once you get that momentum going, it sets you up the whole rest of the day for success.
That's awesome. You mentioned diction training. Would you mind elaborating on that?
Yeah, so part of obviously communicating is linguistics. So we want to make sure that we're sharp, we're enthusiastic, and we're very specific with our language. So think of it like sharpening the tongue. All right. What I do is I basically read tongue twisters out loud to make sure that I'm pronunciating and being on point with my speaking. So simple, Betty bought a bit of butter, but she found the butter bitter. So Betty bought a bit of better butter to make the bitter butter better. All right.
That's awesome. That's great. That's great. I couldn't do that, but it speaks to me because, especially coming to working and living in different countries, that's something that's always been interesting. I tell a story oftentimes when I lived in the Philippines. I remember the first month of living there, I sat on my team down and talked for about 15 minutes about how excited I was, what a great opportunity it is for them, and how much fun we're going to have together. And I asked if there's any questions, and the lady at the back put her hand up and said, "No, but can you talk slower, please?" And for me, that's all of those things you said, just in a nutshell.
Love it.
Yeah, so much of our business is communication too, and maybe we can take this direction too, Donnie, because I know that you communicate to your clients, but also your prospects in many different ways. Maybe potential clients. So talk to us about the infrastructure you've built to help with client development and business development and what you're building right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have a 2,700 square foot, what we consider adult functional and sports performance training facility. And, we started with 20 people, pre-pandemic, we were 225 plus. I'm building it back up. I'm, 130 plus right now. We would dip below 100 in the kind of the depths of the hard times. And we came to the realization of, my business partner and I, we had run a general fitness gym for 10 years. And people would come in and they'd have really great intentions. They'd sign up for their membership and we're like, "Hey, this is great. Here's access to all this equipment. Go have at it." And what we'd see too many times is they would come in a couple times, kind of wander around, not sure what to do. And eventually we just wouldn't see them anymore. And they'd be canceling, in the near future. But the people that we were working with one-on-one or in small groups, getting that actual coaching aspect where we're working on form, working on technique, we're doing great. All right. So we had an opportunity to go fully into what we consider a training model of the business, right? Where we get to coach them every time they come in. So things were going really well. People were loving that type of programming and they were getting good physical results. The next thing that we kind of discovered was you can't out-train a bad diet, right? So we'd bring the people in, we'd work them out all day long, but they would go home and they had no structure, no plan, no way to offset. So they were just kind of stuck in this limbo. So then we added nutrition component on top of our membership. People started getting great results. And then we found that the last kind of piece that really finished it off was that accountability aspect of it, because you need somebody more than yourself, for the vast majority of people, to really kind of finish it off. Because it's easy to say it. It's a lot easier to tell somebody, yeah, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. All right. So that accountability on top of the nutrition with the training has really been the secret sauce to getting people that impact and that success that they're really looking for.
I got so many questions, but so accountability, how? Like how do you hold them accountable?
Yeah, so great question. Just like you guys, we do a weekly accountability chat. All right. So we talk about what are the things that are working for you? Where are the places that you're having trouble? All right. What can we do? How can we change, your nutrition to make it work for you? All right. We also have what we consider an accountability weigh-in. So we have an in-body scale. So they come into the facility, they step on the scale, does a full scan of their body. It breaks down how much fat, how much water, how much muscle, everything that's going on. So on a week-to-week basis, they can see those changes. Just like with your guys' dials, when we're tracking all of that data, right? They need that feedback. They need to see that progress to understand, hey, I got my butt out of line and it's showing on that scale. I better get back on track and get things done for next week.
We can't improve what we don't measure, right, Coach?
You don't know. You can't do anything about it. All the things you just shared there were all the principles of usually that aren't in play. That's why people set goals. Like they come into your gym, like I said, pumped up, motivated. They make a commitment. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Like motivation's there. Like take the action while they're motivated for sure. And then they got, okay, I'm there, I'm going, I'm in. And then they're not seeing the follow through because they haven't set out a specific goal for themselves. And then they're not drawing a line from the outcome all the way back to what they're actually doing. It's like, I need to know what specifically the next step is. And the newer something is to you, or the bigger it is, the smaller that next step needs to be, right? So I need to just like, what do I do here? 2,700 square feet. What do I do? Where should I go first? And so just some direction of like, do this first. Like you infinitely set yourself up to a better opportunity for them to win. It's so cool. And then like you stack all those different habits in across as well. It's like more and more ways to win.
100%. And people buy on logic, people buy on emotions, not on logic, which when you don't follow it up with a good plan, those emotions are going to go away and you're going to find yourself right back where you started without a good plan in place and good accountability and good, like you said, measuring of what you're doing.
I wonder if we can say the logic reinforces the emotion. I like that. Right. And start with emotion, get them to an emotional state of what happens if you don't work out? What happens if you don't commit to this? What are you giving up?
Yeah.
And then get them super committed. And then the plan and the procedure after that is what just reaffirms everything. Just, oh, well, this makes sense. It's clarity to me is the biggest point. And to the point that Coach made, having a direct goal or a vision for what you're trying to achieve. It's like working out, right? Like working out, that's what we're talking about, right? So unless there's an event at the end or something that you're training for, what's the difference maker that'll get you out of bed on the tough days? Because those always roll around. So if you can rig that game and figure out that solution, then that's how you get people to show up all the time.
Yeah.
100%.
People buy it emotionally and then they justify logically. And so that's in the moment. And then if you extend that principle all the way through, like every day, like you've got to have that logic of where am I going? Because you're not going to, most of the time, most people aren't going to not measure something. When they're not measuring something, they're not going to assume the best. They're going to assume the worst because that's how our minds do, right? They're just there for survival. So we've got to create that logic all the way across as well. So you can constantly justify it and then feel good, justify, feel good, repeat. And before you know it, you're in a completely different place. You create some crazy stuff for yourself.
Right. Build that new person, build that new mindset, build those new habits. And it's a whole nother ball game.
And see, that's why we have 3 people on this podcast, so we can get to that level of clarity with our conversation as well, our principles. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Don. So on that same wavelength, I'm curious, like if we rewind maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years in your journey, what's something that you maybe almost take for granted today that you never saw yourself accomplishing or doing or embodying as a business owner? Is there anything that jumps to mind for you?
That's a good question. And I think one of the things I would obviously say I would never have thought I would have done is incorporate 100% virtual aspect to our business. And just like we said, of reframing things, when the whole shutdown first occurred, I was like, we're screwed. This is going to be really hard. And I don't know what's going to happen. We might shut our doors within a month or two, because all of our business was based on in-person, physically face-to-face with, real equipment in their hands. And now all of a sudden I've got to train somebody in their living room or in their basement. And what turned out to be a huge fear actually is just a huge opportunity, because we've been able to, expand our business. And now I look at the whole online training and online exercise not as, just an outlier, but as an absolute opportunity and something that is going to be part of our business and an important aspect of our business going forward. And we totally changed our whole business model. So what I didn't expect is to be training people remotely and getting them amazing results, just like I do in the gym. So change, as drastic as we experienced, would probably be the thing that I didn't expect to happen in these last couple of years, but it is probably one of the biggest blessings that ever happened to us also.
What was what jumps to mind is change is automatic, growth is not. It's always something, choice of growth is there. So what made you flick your mindset a little bit there, Don, in terms of the initial reaction of, we might close our doors in the next month or two, to this is the best opportunity we've had? What was that? Can you zero in on that and find that place?
So, we were able to retain like 80% of our people. They were willing to stick with us and, give the at-home training a shot, which we were ecstatic about. It really spoke to me about the type of impact and influence that our team has on these people and our members, how much they are committed to staying healthy and being, a fitness type person, right? But it's great. They all said, yeah, I'm going to stick with you. But now I've got to produce. Okay. And, luckily, the trainers that we work with and that we have go through like a three month plus process before they get to really work with anybody. And we're very highly educated. We take this job seriously, right? It's not just any Yahoo off the street. We want people that really embody and love the, physiological, kinesiology type side of things. So they gave us a shot. I had to prove that we could do it. And all of a sudden it was like, hot damn, this is working. And you know what? There's a lot of people that actually really like it. And there's a lot of people that this might be more convenient for, and ultimately might be a better fit for them. And if I can help somebody get great results in their basement or their living room, or when they're traveling on the road for work, then that's an opportunity. All right. This is no longer just, fear. Now we've changed that mindset and it flipped to where it was like, hey, you got to take a look at this and really realize what you've got here is a serious opportunity and not just a short-term Band-Aid.
So if I got this right, Don, thank you for sharing that. It was the flip was oh my gosh, you've got to close the doors in 2 months, perhaps. The flip then was the expectations of your environment saying, I'm going to stick with you. So the expectations of the environment you created actually forced your mindset change to lean back into that. Is that right?
Yeah, and the fact that they were still getting results and staying on track and doing well
Yeah.
outside of the facility. That's when I was like, this actually works. We can make it work. And it can be great.
Super cool.
Yeah, I think you closed the loop on the mindset piece of that, right? So I guess in this example, at least, it helped to see that a little bit first, but now it's become, whenever there is that fear or that obstacle or that barrier that comes up, we can just skip over we need to see it first part and just, have the mindset right away. How is this an opportunity? What am I missing here? What's the new reframe to look at this by, so that I can treat it as something that we can grow from, we can learn from, we can get better and bigger and stronger from.
100%.
Awesome. So take us home here, Don. Anything that you're taking away from our conversation today, or that you'd like to share with whoever's listening that might be going through this? I think you've been through, we can see the evolution, right? From 6 different companies to surviving the pandemic to thriving in what you're doing right now. What sort of message would you want to share with anybody who's listening?
Yeah, so I think a couple of things. Number one, loving what you do is always important. Being able to provide something of value that you love is a true blessing. And, I know you guys get to do that on a daily basis. And it's something that I want everybody to really enjoy. So if you're scared, if you're not sure, if you're not happy with what you're doing, then by all means, there's so much opportunity out there. Find something that you love. Is it going to be hard at times? Are you going to question yourself? Are you going to have doubt? 100%. But having a coach like you guys can make the world of a difference. And I would recommend I'm a coach and I have a coach. Everybody that's serious and that wants to grow and really make progress should be working not only on their mind, body, and spirit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the great equalizer to overcoming those barriers is doing what you love, right? Because then nothing's going to stop you. Now, it doesn't seem like you'll get through it at some point, so there is that questioning, like you're saying, but if you're truly committed to it because it's something that you love, nothing's going to stop you. How about you, Coach? What are you taking away?
Nothing's easy, but we're not looking for easy. Everything's going to be challenging. Everything's going to be pushing you. So just make sure that you're doing the thing that you want to be doing. Right? Don't try and get away with stuff, because if you run away, you're going to be spending your whole life doing that, right? And you're just going to shrink and get smaller and smaller in that scarcity mindset. Thank you for giving a reminder of that, Don. It's really important to do something that you at least feel something for, so you will keep going when things are challenging, because they will be, and you can capitalize on the opportunities when it comes back around, right? It's like a seesaw. If you were going down one side, we're going to get a flip back to the other side. It will go all the way back to then and kind of settle back some in the middle, and it's all in a cycle. Just enjoy it.
Love it. Well, Don, we haven't even mentioned your company yet, so give a little plug. How can we find you if you're online right now? We want to take some workout classes or sessions, or become a member. How do we do that? How do we do it?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us at DetroitThrive.com, Instagram, Facebook. We're on there. Don Jaeger is my Instagram handle. You can find me there easily too. Yeah, any type of nutrition, fitness, either in person, remote, we can help you guys get it done and really make sure that we've got that fitness taken care of with our 3 important factors.
Love it. Thank you, Don. I appreciate you joining us on this edition of Truth Seekers. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.